Golfers, it's Friday, so that means one more episode, one more thing that we're gonna learn this week. In this week, I'm going to present you something that so many players struggle to. Even if you have a really good chip shot, if you get on a tight line, what are you going to do? Well, that we are going to find out in this video. So I went a bit on the golf course to find this position, and I managed to find a tight lie around the green of the 5th hole. So let's see most of the time what amateurs are doing and why they are not successful with this shot. So I'm just gonna take my 54 wedge and I'm just gonna show you what they do most of the time. So we know that on a tight lie the grass is really small and we don't really have space to make the club go under the ball. But they are still going to set up in a position that is, let's say, normal, and from here most time they are either gonna fat the ball or they are gonna thin it. So now the whole bottom of the club, it's sitting on the grass. Let's see if I hit one, will I be successful or not with this setup. So this is a standard setup. Let's see how it's going to work. So I managed to hit it, but it was a bit too strong, so I thinned it just a little bit. So that means that the setup I was not really helping me to get the ball in the air and to put it on the green close to the hole. Now, let's see again that shot a bit in slow motion, and I'm gonna talk you through what was wrong and what should be better for this shot. Let's quickly check this setup and let's see exactly what was wrong with that one. So as you can see, it looks fairly neutral. It's not adapted for the place where I hit the ball from, and you can see that the whole sole of the club, it's lying on the grass, and that is the main reason why this shot doesn't work from there. So let's see how to adapt our setup in order to make sure that the club is not interacting so much with the ground, or minimize its interaction in a way that the club is going to glide better through that tight lie. I put one more ball. Let's see exactly what we need to do to our setup, how to change it in order to be successful from this lie as well. So this would be a normal chip shot setup, and what I want you to do is to go a lot closer to the golf ball. So let's say I have about a foot between me and the golf ball. And in this way, you're gonna see that automatically the shaft of the club is gonna raise. Now this is gonna do two things. It's gonna a bit point the loft of the club to the right, so you might need to close the club face a bit. And then one more thing is going to happen. The heel of the club is gonna be a bit in the air. So that means that if I would have been here with the club, by lifting the shaft, you see only the toe is touching the grass. So that means less interaction from the club head with the grass. And this is gonna allow me to glide through the tight lie better without the chance of hitting the shot fat, right? So let's try again. So I'm gonna get closer. I'm gonna lift the grip of the club. Now I need to closer touch the club face. And now from here, I'm gonna feel like I'm doing a putting stroke. So I'm keeping the weight on the front leg, but main thing, we need a putting stroke here. So in this way, as you could see, the club just brushed the grass. So there was no stucking or digging into the grass. So back and through like a putt shot. Let's see how this shot is going to work out. So as you could see, I managed to strike the ball much better than the first shot, and also it was a lot easier to control the distance that the ball is going to roll. So by making these adjustments, it's going to be really easy for you to not dig the club when the lie is really tight like this one, and it's going to save probably your par. Now let's look a bit more in depth at the differences in the setup. There is one more little thing that you need to change in the setup to make sure that this shot is gonna work perfect every time. If you struggle with any part of your golf game and you want personalized advice from myself, jump on our website. There you're gonna find some lesson packages that are going to put you on the right track. Now, The last thing that you need for that chip shot from a bare lie comes right now. First of all, we need to stay a bit closer to the golf ball, and in this way we will raise the shaft of the club, which will enable us to have only the toe of the club touching the grass. So the heel, the bottom, is gonna stay a little bit in the air. Now, because we are a bit closer and the shaft is raised, the loft of the club is gonna point a bit to the right. So that means that we're gonna need to close the club face just a little bit. And the third one is going to be the ball position. So we're gonna need to place the ball position a bit more towards the toe, which will enable us to strike the ball like on a normal chip shot. Those were the 3 things that you need to adapt in your setup position when you play a chip shot from a tight lie. And I'm sure they are going to help you as much as they helped me. As you can see, the second ball was a lot closer and it was a lot easier to control the ball flight. Now, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, and I will see you next week at the Solution Golf.